Hi. Hi. So I'm going to do a short little video about the energies of late and the year coming to an end, next year, truce, untruce, all that fun stuff. This year was about truce. Truce coming out, truce about ourselves, truce about others. All that is hidden coming out to be seen. First, we see this in the political arena. Okay. We see this in the political arena with those truths coming out. And then we've also, in certain groups and in certain researches, people have figured out things like there used to be giant trees and we had a different environment, that there were giants. It's in the Bible, the Nephilim, or as I've been calling it, the Sibyl. That's another truth that has come out as being, these are truths that have been out but are now becoming more recognized by the masses. So another one of the truths is that even the papacy and the Pope worship a black goddess and child. So this is proof to the theories that I have been sharing, and also the truths and proofs of the Sibyls, or the female prophetesses, or that everything came from the black goddess, or the black doves, or the black female gods that were connected to the planet. And then we have other discoveries that I hadn't even thought of, but had kind of thought of, where we already know that there's like ancient hallways and caves in the Grand Canyon that have yet to be explained. And recently, one man within the last few years has a belief that there are pyramids in the Grand Canyon. Great pyramids, like we can't even imagine. Like 7 times the size of the pyramids in Egypt. And that the indigenous people of the Americas, all the way from the Olmecs, the Toltecs, to the Pequot, to the Caribs, to the Choctaw, to the Blackfeet, to the Crow, don't look like what we thought they did. We've been told, I've been told, my whole history, my whole education was a lie. I remember studying African history and African American history and wondering why there weren't more African Americans in this country if they had brought so many over in slave ships. There is proof via the Smithsonian and other places. All the peoples that have been called African Americans are not from Africa. Unless this is Africa, the United States, and Canada, and Mexico, and all the way down to South America. That's Africa. And then yes, we would be African Americans. We would be indigenous Americans, and that's what we are. And we've been told that we are from Africa because we own this land. There are laws written that if you have indigenous blood, you were not supposed to be a slave, you were not supposed to be sold, you were not supposed to be losing your land. And then once by ship, the Moors, another name for those who went by ship, you could go down the Hudson River and be a slave. The Chesapeake Indians were moved down to the Caribbean, and the Caribbean peoples were moved up. All indigenous people, great lands, great lands, great powers, great magics. These were all written. This has been written. And it's also in a book in the Smithsonian that we are the true Jews. The true jewels here in the Americas. So those are the truths that have come out so far this year. What's next? What's next? Next year. So next year will be a solidification of what I believe will be the feminine divine coming into full authority, being heard, being seen, changes in economics, changes in health care, changes in world reform as far as immigration and all these things goes, because these have all been designed to trick the masses, including people that are called white people, into believing that we and them are separate from each other, because there are many of those that are descendants of us that don't look like us anymore. We're indigenous. We're the true Indians. Not that the Indians that exist aren't true Indians. They are true Indians. But their parents, their great-grandparents, and their parents before them look like me and even darker. They were considered negro, meaning black, not a slave. Okay. Now, I'm going to send a little Reiki energy. So in the Reiki energy that I've been connecting to and sending to myself and with the planet, all these truths are coming out, and we're seeing a mass deception. And when we see a mass deception, we start seeing the small deceptions all the way down to the little ones that we even give ourselves. So all this is transmuting and aspiring to be greater and better and at a heightened state, and to be able to share messages and healings for each other. And also there's a lot of old soul work for the self, for the planet. You know, she lost her people. She lost her feminine voice through her feminine people on the planet. You know, these things, we all feel them. And then we feel our little microcosms within them. So I've been bringing in Reiki every morning. Lots of baths or showers. Lots of self-care in the sense of nurturing the self. Do what you want when you can. Notice when your moods are off, or if you're giving too much energy one way or another. Try to come back to your own focus. I recently heard from a sister reminding me that truth and love are one and the same. So if we're working on truth, we're working on love. So thank you for your time and your space. Reiki energy to you and your family, your animals, to the land, to this now moment, and to bring ease and peace and all to work in the best result for all, everywhere, always. Messege. Give thanks.